Well, hello everyone and welcome to a belated edition of Magazine Mayhem. Yes, it's back for the first time in forever. It's been a long time. I don't do these very often, but I was thinking, let's give it a try. I still had a magazine lying around. So this time I'm going to be looking at an issue of Disney's Big Time, which was the kids magazine for sort of Disney fans. Yeah, so this was Disney's Big Kids magazine. So Cartoon Network had one and Disney had one as well. I don't know why it's called Big Time. Like, we're in the big time now. I don't know what that's supposed to mean. But yeah, I think this issue is from 2005, so this was, 19 years ago now? Goodness me, doesn't feel like it. Someone's hitting the fast forward button and telling you. Well, surely that wasn't 19 years ago. Apparently it was. There you go. Yeah, but we're going to just do the same thing as always on Magazine Mayhem and just look through the magazine, chat up some memories, read some comics, and have a good old time. So yeah, let's get stuck into it with Disney's Big Time. Okay, so as always, start with the cover. So on the cover we have Star Wars, of course, big, whole, massive Star Wars at the front, because of course it's Anakin from Episode 3, which was the movie that had just come out at the time in 2005. So that must be when this magazine is from. I wasn't sure what year it's from, but it must be 2005 if it's Star Wars, because we've got Mario here saying all the latest news. What was this called? Winx Club, was that? I think that was that. Winx Club was the name of that show. That was on a long time ago. Captain Scarlet, I think. CGI Captain Scarlet, that was a thing back then. Of course, Doctor Who, that had just come back, with Christopher Eccleston saying, "It's out of this world." I can just imagine him saying that. Remember, he used to say that all the time. I can just imagine Christopher Eccleston saying that. And it has loads of secrets, loads of money, I don't know. You can win a bike, win this bike inside. It says a tiny little man riding a tiny little bike. I don't know who he is. Crazy Comics, Recess, of course. And also this magazine came with a free Cool Catch game, which I don't have, because it's long been ripped off, I suppose, from right by here. But yeah, so I don't have that, but we do have the magazine, and let's get stuck into it. Here we have Scoop. So this is all the roundup of all the stuff that was out at the time that us kids could have got our teeth stuck into back then. Stuff like McFly. Tom McFly got the giggles on a TV show recently. I was singing, and when I pulled away from the mic, it was like, slurp, he laughs. God knows what that was about. There was loads of gooey spit dribbling down onto my guitar. It was really embarrassing. Wish we'd seen it, Tom. And he says, I'm #1 at dribbling. Yeah, McFly, remember them? I think they're still around. I don't know. I wasn't a big pop music guy, so that was for the girls to be into, I think. Muppet of the Month. Holly Willoughby, Muppet of the Month. Looks like presenting Ministry of Mayhem has finally made Holly flip, so I guess this was early in her career, before she became a big TV presenter. And yeah, there's stuff like a Scrat search, so Ice Age, of course, spot Ice Age's Scrat hiding in this issue, and you could win one of 3 Disney's Big Time goodie bags. They usually do that, hide something in the magazine somewhere for you to win a prize. Bet you can't find me, says Scrat, but he doesn't talk. He's not a talking character, so he wouldn't say that. There's more jokey stuff here. Hilarious. Swapping hairstyles hasn't paid off for these Ender stars. So this is EastEnders. I don't, did you watch EastEnders when you were an 8-year-old kid? I did not. So this would have been just, I wouldn't have had a clue who these people were. Ooh, I say, oi, me Barnet's gone bonkers. There's an image, isn't there? There's some nightmare fuel for you kids. Wicked website, clubwitch.co.uk. This amazing website is packed with info on the Witch Girls and tons of cool surprises. That was a TV show back then. And Harry Potter, did you know Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince will be printed on recycled paper? At least the story's not recycled, says Harry. Isn't that giving the critics a bit of ammunition? Disney's Toontown, yeah, I remember that. I remember adverts for that on TV. I used to see that on TV all the time, sort of before I had the internet. I remember thinking that looked like a cool game where you could run around some sort of town as a cartoon character. And they have a big meter here, the cooler meter. Most magazines would do this, where they tell you what's cool and what's not so cool. So what was the coolest thing was Doctor Who, a time-traveling doc, evil aliens, and all kinds of crazy gadgets. How cool is he? So Doctor Who was the big thing back then, followed shortly after by Star Wars. The not-so-cool stuff, Disco Dads. Does life get any cringier than Pop's trying to get the funk? Maybe an early use of the word cringy back then. Was that when the word cringy started to appear, 2005? You heard it here first, guys. It was in Disney's Big Time. So turning the page, we have, Feel the Force, a big thing about Star Wars Episode 3, which I was definitely crazy about back then, because this was when I was deep into my Star Wars phase with Revenge of the Sith. because that is the one that came out in 2005 to finish off the prequel trilogy. And yeah, I mean, there's just a lot of stuff about the movie. I mean, there was so much hype for this film actually because it was supposed to be the last Star Wars movie. So I remember like people were just, magazines were spoiling it en masse, you know. I remember there was one PlayStation magazine where they just spoiled the entire movie. It was like, here's everything that happens in the movie just written down. Yeah, so, and of course we read it, Even right here, you can see super scenes, you know, in the opening scene there's a huge laser blasting space battle, Obi-Wan kicks butt when he takes on General Grievous, you know, explosive confrontation between Mace Windu and sneaky Chancellor Palpatine. He's very sneaky, isn't he? Don't trust him. And Anakin and Obi-Wan have the mother of all lightsaber battles, and that was the big thing about that movie, of course, is that these two had a big old fight, and it was pretty cool, because Revenge of the Sith was probably the best prequel. And they were just plastering it with spoilers. Movie secrets alerts, new alien alerts, all these alerts everywhere, just telling you everything about the movie. And yet, I never actually saw it in the cinema, which is a shame. I had to watch a dodgy pirate copy on DVD. It was like, and it wasn't even in English. Well, the cover wasn't in English. It said something like, La Revenger de los Sith. That was what it said on the cover. It was like a, you know, dodgy foreign pirate copy. That's how I had to watch this movie. I wish I'd seen it in the cinema though. On the next page we have, oh, even more Star Wars. Oh, this is some stuff from the old movies then. So their favourite Star Wars moments, so Phantom Menace, you know, Obi-Wan and Qui-Gon Jinn having a kick-ass. You can't say that in a Disney magazine. Look, it says kick-ass. A kick-ass double lightsaber battle. I cannot believe they let that fly. That's shocking, isn't it? Swearing in a Disney magazine. You wouldn't get that now. Attack of the Clones, of course, Yoda fighting Count Dooku. Yeah, he was a pretty big ball of fury in that movie. And stuff from the older movies like New Hope, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back. And a chance to win some Star Wars goodies, like a lightsaber that can change colours, which I think I remember an advert for that on TV. And of course, oh, the Darth Vader voice changer helmet. I remember that. That thing was... They made a bunch of those back then, voice changing helmets that were like... useless. It was always like you'd speak into it and you'd sound like can you hear? You'd sound so indistinct it would be just you couldn't hear a thing. Yeah, those were not a great idea. They made loads of those. They made Doctor Who ones and you know, other stuff. And here's stuff, the best toys brought to you by Big T. So there's the voice changer helmet, $32.99, 33 quid. They were dear, those were. And of course, oh, those lovely Star Wars figures. I used to collect those all the time. $5.99 the figures. They always keep it simple, I thought, with toys. I always just liked good old-fashioned action figures like that. General Grievous, I had quite a few of those. Yeah, definitely had a lot of those. Bioclock, I don't remember that. Tangled DNA, Street Gliders, you know. This is all cheapy kind of stuff, I think. Frozen Bubble Blaster, yeah, from The Incredibles, yeah. I think I remember that. That looks, strange, that wasn't in the film. And a Scooby-Doo pinball machine, 89 quid from John Lewis. My goodness. Yeah, you had to be, you know, a posh kid to have one of those. We didn't have a pinball machine. Weren't lucky enough for that. And next we have, oh look, a bit of Cartoon Network. Toontastic. Ever wondered what those cheeky cartoons get up to when the cameras stop rolling? Now you can find out. Hooray, now you can see the hilarious behind-the-scenes antics of Cartoon Network's top toon heroes. Oh, so this is a big advert for the whole SETI era thing, isn't it? Yeah. I'm actually old enough to remember when that started, because they actually started advertising it before it happened. That was sort of, you know, they were saying, oh, Cartoon Network's going to have this new rebranding, it's going to have this big SETI thing, and it's going to be really cool. And it was really cool, because it sort of combined all the cartoon characters together and put them in one big world and came up with all these idents and stuff, and it was really creative, and it was probably the best you know, sort of ident package the channel ever had, because, you know, what's better than having them all in one place interacting with each other? So of course they were promoting it in the magazine as well, so you got, you know, Powerpuff Girls interacting with Samurai Jack and Ed, Edd n Eddy. They carry on bickering even after the show's over. Where do Mac and Blue hang out when they're not at Foster's home for imaginary friends? And take a sneaky peek at Dexter and Dee Dee surfing the net. So yeah, they were, you know, they were all in on that new branding, weren't they? So they even advertised it in magazines. And it looks like I've drawn around this in pen, I don't know, to circle it, to remind myself to check it out. I remember staying up early one morning to see that happen, you know, to see it, the start of the SETI era. There's an advert, of course, for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. Remember that with the bongos on the GameCube? Yes, I remember that being a big thing they were advertising. Big bongos, you had to buy alongside the game, so it was actually pretty expensive. The world's first bongo control platform game, and probably the last, let's be honest, kids. Of course, turn the page and we have Doctor Who! So yes, Doctor Who, everyone. Yeah, this is when Doctor Who first came back in 2005. And Big T brings you all the behind-the-scenes goss, so this is a full explanation of everything that was going to happen in Doctor Who. They got an episode guide, so this is the whole first series of Doctor Who. I think I started watching it when David Tennant was the Doctor. I didn't see the first series until later, and I never really watched it. I stopped watching it after that. Yeah, but there's loads of stuff like the website. Yeah, I remember going on that a lot. Lots of Doctor Who games and stuff, and there's sort of fun facts like Doctor Who has 2 hearts. What does TARDIS stand for? And it cost 100. Oh look, it's wrong. It says it cost 100 quid to make, not 100,000. Look at that, it's just 100 quid. Yeah, there's another error there. So they weren't fixing typos, but they were letting swear words in, apparently. And then lots, a big thing on aliens, you know, of course, with scare factors and scary ratings, of course. Of course, the Daleks being the scariest. And who's the least scariest? The Mox of Balhoon is like a big, looks like a balloon. Maybe it's a play on words like Balhoon. I don't know. What do you mean blue's not my colour? Because they all have to have quips. Always put a speech bubble in kids' magazines on characters who would probably not say those lines. Turning the page, we have, what do we have here? Get giggling. Keep those fantastic jokes coming because you've got us in stitches. So lots of jokes. Yes, it wouldn't be a kids' magazine without loads and loads of jokes, and here is just a small selection of these ingenious jokes. How do you tell if an elephant is in your sandwich? You can't pick it up off the plate. Why can't cars play football? Because they've only got 1 boot. We're a teacher's mate on an assembly line. Oh, I am in stitches, I can tell you. And even more, how many competitions are there? There's like a competition on every page. Disney were just giving it away. Got a good joke, send it in and you can win a wicked Robo-Bugs kit, which I remember seeing those on TV. There were bugs that were robotic, who would have thought? And it's Simpsons Rubik's Cube? That kind of rings a bell in the back of my mind. And on the other side we have the short-lived, I think, CG version of Captain Scarlet. I remember when he was a puppet. I think I had a couple of toys of this back then. But here's the down low on Captain Scarlet when they made him a CG character. And his real name is Paul Metcalf. I didn't know that. 32 years old. He looks like he's 32 going on 48 by the looks of this picture. But yeah, I don't know much about Captain Scarlet. You know, background data. The year is 2005. So this is set in the past now, actually, which is strange. It's no longer a futuristic show. And it starts on CITV in June. And another competition where you can win a big Sky Base, which that looks like a good play set. I would have liked that just for my Star Wars figures, I think. That looks like a good one. Here we have, some trading cards, I think? Some trading cards? Superhero Trumps. Cut out Big T's Super Trumps, then get battling to find the greatest superhero ever. So these were cards that you could cut out and, play with. They used to do a lot of these. Quite a healthy mix. Cartoons too. You've got, Robin in there, Raven, Incredible Hulk. Irma Lair, who's she? Tarani Cook? I don't know some of these. Magneto is like, stop, I don't want to be on this card. And He-Man, even He-Man's there. Oh man, I thought it was going to be He-Man. But yeah, the thing about these is that, nice though they are, you'd have to ruin the magazine to cut them out, and I was always like, I kind of wanted to preserve my magazine, so I never used to do things like this. It's like the pullouts. Didn't want to pull the things out of the magazine because otherwise it would rip and just make a mess of the thing, so I was always like, I don't want to touch it, just keep it the way it is. But yeah, surprise, surprise, the most powerful is Spider-Man. His coolness rating is 100, and none of them have a rating as high as that. It's only Spider-Man, of course, because Spider-Man is the best. But there's no Batman here, I just realised. Where's Batman? That is weird. On your bike, so another competition. There are so many competitions, so now we can win a giant motorbike. Yeah, go motor mad with these way cool mini motorbikes. The Mini Moto Sport Racer bike is a high-performance electric-powered ride-on toy with a slick, realistic design. So that probably would have been quite cool. I remember my brother had a Spider-Man motorbike that I was quite jealous of. I just had a normal bike, but he had one of those motorized ones you could ride around on. And just be lazy because you didn't have to pedal it. But yeah, they were just giving these prizes away. Did they have like a warehouse full of them or something? They were just giving them away. There's so many prizes in this magazine. And of course an advert for Star Wars Clone Wars, which was the first version of Clone Wars that was on Cartoon Network. I remember getting up very early in the morning to watch that when it first came on. Of course done by Genndy Tartakovsky, who created Dexter's Lab, and it's pretty cool, Clone Wars, the original Clone Wars. Really, it's quite a bit like Samurai Jack. Sort of lots of action sequences, but it was cool, yeah. And what are these down here? Oh, Star Wars droids, Star Wars Ewoks. Oh, so those are like the old cartoons and stuff from like the 80s, I think. Yeah, those are long forgotten, I think. And what's this, like an Ewok movie? I think that rings a bell in the back of my brain. Yeah, they were, of course, even more Star Wars stuff because, like I said, the movie was out, so they were advertising that. More posters, so we got Doctor Who there, with Disney's big time plastered all over it, and Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Remember that movie? I remember when that came out. I never saw it, but it was around the same time. So I guess that was of some relevance to kids, not entirely sure. And here we have a comic, so Kim Possible. Kim Possible. I never actually watched this. I know it was popular with certain kids, but I was never much of a Disney Channel kid. I think I've said that before in the past. I was more Cartoon Network, Nickelodeon kind of kid. So I didn't watch Kim Possible, so now I've got to try and learn what this is and read about it. The name is, the comic is Ron the Unstoppable. Okay, let's give it a read. Psst, KP, not to sound crazy or anything, but couldn't we use the front door just once? We're inside the museum, Wade. What's the sitch? A guy who calls himself Thievius Maximus is making a grab for an ancient pair of jewel-encrusted PJs. It's said that whoever wears the PJs will receive incredible powers. PJs? As in pajamas? You mean we're protecting some magic jammies? Clung. Oof. Not to worry, Kim. I'll take care of Maximus. Sit back and watch. You might even learn a thing or two. Okay, that was freaky. That blow to his head changed Ron's personality. We've got to stop him before he gets hurt. You are too late, Ron. Okay, so who is this? I don't know anything about this show. You are too late, Ronstoppable. The bejeweled jammies are mine. Now that's a line for the ages. Ha! As if I couldn't stop a common cat burglar. Prepare to suffer a terrible defeat, Maximus. Maximus is going to make mincemeat of Ron unless... Wait a minute. Rufus, that rope. Make it quick, Rufus. If we can clonk Ron on the head, he should revert to normal. Understand this, villain. I wield one of the greatest forces ever known. Defend yourself against the Nachonator 5000. Ow! Bunny Slipper can't aim. Senses reeling. What? My nachos? This creep ruined all my nachos. Kim, why didn't you stop him? Don't look at me, Ron. You're the hero this time. Too much cheese. Yeah! The end. Well, reading that did not explain much about Kim Possible to me. I think might just have to sit down and watch it to get a better explanation on that. But there you go, there's a comic for the Kim Possible fans. Oh, and here's a comic of Recess called Tired. A bit like me after I made that review. I was quite tired making that one. Boy, I'm tired. I'm more than tired. I'm hurting. Exhausted. I'm pooped. No wonder, we've been running, jumping, dodging, swinging and climbing non-stop since we've been out here. I guess we have been pushing ourselves pretty hard. That's an understatement. I got hit in the head by a few too many dodgeballs. Tell me about it. I think I pulled a muscle. I skinned a knee. I may never be the same. Well, we could rest a minute. What? And waste recess? The end. Okay, so that's pretty funny. That's like a mini quippy comic, isn't it? Yeah, that's quite funny actually. Maybe that's more representative than the show than the movie. Maybe. Bro, look, here's a comic of Buzz Lightyear of Stalker Man. Now that's kind of strange because I think the show had long stopped airing by 2005. So I think it was just on sort of late at night from what I remember around this time. But apparently they were still putting comics of it in the magazine. The Big Chill. Star Commander sent Buzz and his brave band of space rangers to a frozen ice moon in search of a space pirate hideout, but now their ship is frozen solid. Okay, XR, what's the situation? It's bad, Buzz. Unless we can melt all this ice on the ship, we're never gonna get off the ground. We may be stuck, but we've still got a job to do. XR, stay here and see if you can figure out a way to get the ship loose. Booster, Mirror, grab your spacesuits. We're going to check out this hideout. I'm picking up some strong signals from that ice cave, Buzz. Me too, Mirror. Let's check it out. Bingo. Now let's be very careful, Rangers. It's probably booby-trapped. Looks like it's deserted. Nothing to worry about. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Booster. Intruder alert. Intruder alert. Starting self-destruct mode. He's frozen solid. No time to worry about that now. Let's grab him and get out of here. Now. Warning. Self-destruct imminent. Say, is it getting warmer in here? I really think we should get out of here. Right. Whoa. Quick, head for the ship. The explosion has melted the ice. Get us out of here, XR. You made it, but where's Booster? Oh, we left him in his cabin. He just needs to chill out for a while. The end. So yeah, these comics are pretty quick actually. Sort of the Cartoon Network ones were a bit longer, but you know, I guess they were meant to be quick little adventures for you to get through. So what's this? Timo Supremo. I don't even remember this. Timo Supremo. What on earth is this? Things are hotting up at level 7. Looking good, Governor Kevin. It's crucial not to lose your cool, even when it's hot. It sure is too hot for crime fighting. That's just the attitude he's been counting on, Timo. Who? The Lavalizer. Zats, this is turning out to be less of a heat wave and more of a crime wave. The heat is on for Timo Supremo. I will melt you with molten material. Timo Supremo, Scramble, Bazaar, Whoop-ha, Chica. This is some interesting sounds. Timo, catch up with the Lavalizer. You need to chill out, Lavalizer. Yikes. Timo Supremo, you saved the day again. No sweat, Chief. The end. Yeah, these comics are very straightforward, aren't they? It's like something, you know, they go somewhere, something happens, they stop it at the end. That's basically what these comics are. They're not very, I think the Cartoon Network ones had a bit more depth going on. Win it, and oh look, there's a page missing here. Someone's ripped something out. Oh, I bet that was my brother. Oh, how dare you. Win it, in it, all the coolest prizes. So 4 to win, so these are even more prizes you can win. So 4 to win, Thorpe Park. Hold tight, you and your family could be checking out Thorpe Park's latest white knuckle rides. They've just built the Slammer, Europe's first Sky SWAT ride, and Rush, the world's biggest speed swing. So get ready to scream your socks. What? Get ready to scream your socks, because didn't mean socks off. Just scream your socks, because we've got 4 family tickets to give away. So you could win a trip to Thorpe Park, and what other things could you win? A Simpsons Rubik's Cube, which was another prize somewhere else. What's the name of Bart's favourite TV tune show? Itchy and Scratchy, of course. Lego Star Wars, the video game, which I was obsessed with, sort of age 9 back then, for the PS2, the slim PS2 to be precise. What planet does Anakin Skywalker come from? Tatooine. Some sort of kangaroo game, KO Kangaroo Round 2, which was what, fighting game with kangaroo? KO the kangaroo is hopping mad. I don't remember this. I don't remember Round 1, so yeah, I don't know what that game was, but it was on the PS2, but it's been ripped, so I can't see the whole thing. And some game reviews, of course, mainly Nintendo games by the looks of it. So WarioWare Twisted, I loved WarioWare on the GameCube. That was a great game, but this was the Game Boy version. So the best bit, never knowing what's coming next, bit like WarioWare Touched, but with a twist. Final say, Wario does it again. Wario is back on the scene with hundreds of new microgames and a brand new gimmick, a tilt sensor. Yeah, I remember that, where you could tilt it to get the Game Boy to work. So we got a 9 out of 10, but that was always fun, that WarioWare, because it was always these quick little mini games, and it was always good fun, just addictive. And Donkey Konga 2, of course, the bongo one, 7 out of 10, so sort of an okay-ish game, I suppose. Bit like Donkey Konga with more to do, which I suppose is the definition of a sequel. An iToy anti-grav. Now, I remember the iToy for the PS2, it was like a camera accessory, and I do remember that, seeing a trailer for that on a PS2 demo disc, and thinking it looked cool, because I like kind of snowboarding, extreme sports games, so I remember seeing a trailer for this and thinking it looked cool, but I didn't have an iToy, so I couldn't use it. It even says, like, a bit like SSX with hoverboards, with SSX being an example of a good snowboarding game on the PS2. And yeah, 8 out of 10. We think iToy games have been a bit samey lately, so they clearly weren't fans of the iToy, because it was a bit samey, really. It was mainly sort of grabbing and catching things. And Database, the hot news is that Shadow the Hedgehog is getting his own game. Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog, remember that? Yeah, maybe that's a bit topical with the new Sonic movie coming out, because Shadow's in that, isn't he? Yeah, I remember being hyped for that, Shadow the Hedgehog. Yeah, the Nintendo DS is getting a bunch of online games. Animal Crossing is first, it's confirmed, and Boktai 2, the only Game Boy game with a light sensor in the cart, is coming to the UK, so a little bit of gossip there. Magazine's always got to have gossip. And even more games, Mega Man Battle Network 5, goodness me, that is a lot, isn't it? 5 is a lot, that's a lot of games. Bit like a Mega Man role-playing game, the 5th one to be precise, the biggest and best battle network yet. And Dragon Ball Advanced Adventures, again, a lot of Game Boy games, so a Dragon Ball game, bit like Astro Boy Omega Factor, which I don't recall. Best Dragon Ball game on the GBA, so it's a fighting game, I guess, only with Dragon Ball characters for the Game Boy. So if you were into Dragon Ball, that was probably an okay game to play. I remember there being a big PS2 one though, wasn't it? Budokai, I think. That was the big one that used to be on TV back then. Oh, and Dirty Rotten Cheats, that's what they called it in FBX, isn't it? That was the same name for that section. So lots of cheats for Star Fox Assault, Yoshi Touch and Go, and Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. I think they were favouring Nintendo in this magazine. I'm just taking a wild guess, because there's not much PlayStation or Xbox in here. It's mainly GameCube, Game Boy Advance. So, and I have nothing against Nintendo, I'm just noticing that they seem to be favouring it. So maybe Disney had a vested interest in bigging up Nintendo, I don't know. Because here's even an advert, look, Nintendo DS, but blow them away. What is this? Oh, it's a Yoshi game with some creepy looking animated characters. This is some strange imagery. Yeah. With the name of the game hidden all the way in a little box, yes. Okay, so on the next page we have Top TV, so get a blast of the best shows on the box this month. So this is everything that was on telly. Doctor Who, of course, once again, Saturdays at 7. because it was just coming out and they were going crazy about Doctor Who. And The Sweet Life of Zack and Cody, which I don't even know what that is. That was on Disney Channel a lot. Yeah, well now I know, because it says, like, imagine having a swanky hotel as your playground. That's what happens to 12-year-old twins Zack and Cody when their mum becomes Hotel Tiptons. New headline cabaret act. Follow the hilarious adventures as they adjust to life in the outrageously posh hotel and cause serious havoc. Weekends at 10:30. Yes. So now I know what it's about. I didn't know what happened at the time. I didn't know what on earth that show was about, but now I know it's something about a hotel, kids in a hotel. Put the brakes on. What brakes? Funny, comedy. It's great. Number 3, Shark Tale, which is a film, so I'm slightly confused by why. Oh, it's on Sky Box Office. That's funny that they advertised that, Sky Box Office, because you have to pay for that. Sky Box Office was a movie service where you know, the new movies would come out after they'd been in the cinema, and you had to book it for a certain time on the Sky Box Office channel and pay, you know, 4 or 5 quid for it, and then tune in at a certain time to watch it. So, you know, that's interesting that they actually advertise that in a kids magazine, because you'd have to nag mum and dad to watch that and pay for it. I was never allowed to buy stuff like that on the telly. Number 4, Code Lyoko, which I do remember being on Toonami back then. Never watched it. It was something about some sort of computer-based show on Toonami, Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4:30 and weekends at 11:30 and 4:30. So yeah, I never saw that. Was it any good, guys? Was it any good? I'm not sure. Maybe it was. Maybe it's one of those cult things. It's like, oh, it's amazing. Like Avatar. I never watched Avatar until I was like, you know, way, way older. Best of the rest. So this is the rest, I guess. Shaolin Showdown, which I was obsessed with. That's kind of like Avatar, actually. Both around the same time. I really liked Shaolin Showdown when I was growing up. I used to watch it all the time. Stupid, remember that? CBBC? Yes. Used to watch that all the time. Stupid. I need to watch that again. I haven't seen that in ages. That was like a sketch show with lots of stupid people. Pokemon Chronicles, yes, on Toonami, of course. And Fantastic Four, Jetix. Oh yes, Jetix. There was a Jetix magazine. I need to get one of those. The Jetix magazine. Yeah, that was another channel I used to occasionally watch. And there's an interview here with some sort of Phil of the Future, which I do not remember at all, which has a big interview with the people who were in it, I guess, the kids. Phil of the Future. I prefer Batman of the Future myself. We have What's Out. So, what's this? DVDs and videos. So the SpongeBob movie on DVD, because that had just come out. I remember seeing that in the cinema in 2005, because it came out early 2005 in the UK. A bit later after the US and everything. Yeah, that was a good movie. Enjoyed that. Had it on DVD, of course, and it got 5 dots out of 5, not 5 stars, I guess. But yeah, it was on DVD. How much was it? $12.99, and the video was $9.99 because it was still on video. That's a really rare video now, though. And you can win a DVD of the SpongeBob movie by answering what type of animal is Squidward tentacles. Gee, I wonder. And there's also Lemony Snicket's, a series of unfortunate events. Yes, now that was my jam when I was a kid. Those were my favourite books, series of unfortunate events. I loved the Lemony Snicket books because of this movie, actually. I saw this movie... my cinema, when I was a kid, they would sometimes let us test out their fire alarm, where we'd have to go to the cinema and do a fire drill as a class, and then they'd let us watch a movie afterwards at the UCI. So we got free movies, which was pretty cool, just by testing their fire alarm. And that was one of the movies I saw, and I absolutely loved it. And I loved it so much, I went to the library and I went and read the books, which I suppose is the best advert you can have for a book adaptation, isn't it? The movie is so good, it actually makes you go out and read the books. But I was a huge fan of this, and what was so great about it is how sort of dark and funny it was. You know, it was dark, but it was funny, and that was what made it work really well, because, you know, you had to sort of read between the lines, and, you know, had a very funny sort of sense of humour, you know, out of all these unpleasant things that were going on, sort of making a comedy out of misfortune, so which I really enjoyed as a kid. And so yeah, good movie, good books. Yeah, definitely check those out. Lemony Snicket. And of course the Star Wars Clone Wars DVD. I remember someone brought that into school once, but we couldn't watch it because someone had brought in Freaky Friday and we had to watch that. And I like Freaky Friday too, actually, but that was kind of funny that happened. And Book of the Month, yeah, so there's books too, because you know, some kids do read. Vampirates, which I never read that. I was too busy reading Lemony Snicket, I suppose. So mix the adventure of Harry Potter and the bluster of Pirates of the Caribbean. And what do you get? Vampirates, that's what. And it gets 5 out of 5, so I guess it was a good book, I suppose, but I never ever read it, you know, because I was reading other things, so I missed out on that. And best of the web, Scooby-Doo, so boomerang.co.uk, even though I don't remember the Boomerang website so much, but I remember the Cartoon Network one. And what's this? Capital Disney? Hear your favourite music and interviews with the biggest stars in music every day on Capital Disney. So this is like a Disney radio station? I do not remember this. And it's got a lot of music stars from the time, which I was kind of, I don't know, I wasn't big into music when I was a kid, so I couldn't have named like every singer or band. I just sort of knew things by the tune, you know, not by the name of who sang it or what the song was called. But you can win a t-shirt. What is J-Lo's full name? Well, I know that. That's Jennifer Lopez. There you go. There she is. I know that one. She's only got a 3 out of 5, though. I guess she's not on her A game anymore. And finally, puzzles, of course. You always round out with puzzles, don't you? With Shrek word search. Oh, look, I did this one. I did this word search, sort of crudely. Are you a search star? Says, what was that, robots? The robots guy? What is that? What is that? What is that bird? My goodness, look at that. That is some nightmare fuel. Spot it, so spot the difference. Witch. Oh, it's Witch, not Winx Club. I'm an idiot. I said Winx Club at the start, didn't I? It was Witch. They looked identical. I remember them looking identical. You know, forgive me. Superstars, so can you tell which celebs are in a muddle? So, that's Ant and Dec. I was saying Ant and Dec. It's just Ant. It's not Ant and Dec. It's Homer. Like, that is Homer at his worst, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Is that Dermot O'Leary? It might be. And is that Anakin Skywalker? It might be. That is horrific. That is nightmare fuel. Never mind the bird thing. And Toontime Animaniacs, they were getting on a bit. I'm surprised they're still being shown in a 2005 magazine. And next month, Fantastic Four. Hey, our movie rocks. You know. And Meet the Fantastic Four. You'll be batty about this ish, says Batman. Imagine Batman saying that in the Christian Bale voice. You'll be batty about this ish. Plus games, posters, and loads of laughs. Out 8th of June. So yeah, that was next month's issue with lots of stickers. I know there's another page. Oh look, with letters, big mouth. every letter printed will win a super cool Power Rangers DVD of Dino Thunder. But I'd stopped watching it by then. So what is it? I've drawn you a very angry Hulk because he's one of my favourite superheroes. Gulp. Big T wouldn't like to bump into that ghastly green monster on a dark night. Thanks, Scott. Homer's Millions. Big T's digging this mad pic of Homer winning the lottery. What else would be the top of his wish list but burgers? Dope. Thanks to Joe Hughes, age 10. Wonder what the kids who drew these are doing now. Wonder if they're still artists. You never know. Roundabout Crew, the Crazy Magic Roundabout gang are all here in this wicked picture by... Oh, remember that came out? That Magic Roundabout movie? Goodness me. Sponge-tastic. Your mag is top and that's why I get every issue. I love SpongeBob, so please print a picture of him. Here's your favourite sponge, Katrina. Just print a picture of him. You can watch him on TV, Katrina. Come on, you don't need to just print a picture of him. You can see him moving on TV. And the star letter, we've gone all red. Hi Big T, thanks so much for making this mag. My friends and I think it's the best mag of all time. It even puts school out of our minds. Brilliant. Gee, Mike, you're making us blush with all this praise. Thanks a million for your letter. So just gush, and you'll get, you know, you'll get a game. You get the Incredibles game on the PS2. I remember that. That was an alright game. I remember getting that. I remember that was hard. It was a hard game, but it was alright. It was fun. You know, the Omni Droid, that was hard. That thing was hard. Now it's all coming back to me like, oh god, the memories. When here's something a bit unfortunate. Warning, important safety notice. Please show this to an adult. Goodness me, was this a recall? So Disney's Big Time 155. There is a fault in a small number of the Kim Possible torches that were free with issue 155. The fault causes the plastic shell to get hot when batteries are put into the torch. If you have one of these torches, please throw it away immediately. Goodness me. Note to parents, a fault in a small number of the above items may cause the plastic shell to overheat when batteries are inserted. If you have purchased the above issue of Big Time, please dispose of the torch immediately. So that's good. We give the kids something that can catch fire. Didn't you think to test that before you started giving it out? My goodness, that is ridiculous, isn't it? And finally, end on Adopt a Turtle, which is about an endangered species of turtle that needs to be adopted at once. So that's always a positive note to end on for your kids' magazine. Hey kids, there's a turtle that's suffering. And then on the back we have, of course, an ad for Star Wars Episode 3 coming out on the May 19th with Yoda in all his glory. Swinging his lightsaber. And it says PG, look at that, PG to be confirmed. But it was actually a 12. That was a big thing at the time, actually, quite a big deal, because it was the first Star Wars movie to get a 12, because it was quite dark in places and violent. So maybe they thought it would be a PG, but it wasn't. It ended up being a 12. So that is it for this issue of Disney's Big Time from 2005. So yeah, that was a pretty fun one to go through. I wasn't as knowledgeable, I suppose, on this one because it was Disney. Like I said, I wasn't a big Disney Channel kid, and it definitely favoured Nintendo, so I don't know, maybe my knowledge isn't as strong with the Disney Big Time magazine. All the stuff they covered anyway in the comics and things like that, you know, because maybe I feel more at home with the Cartoon Network kind of stuff. So yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and you know the drill by now, guys. Do I have to tell you? I'm fed up with saying all this stuff. Yeah. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you're watching early on Patreon, then thank you very much. It means a lot, and I shall see you next time around. So I'll see you in the next video. So take care, everyone. Upside down wave. Yeah, upside down wave. See you next time.